The woman stormed toward me at the community pool, her phone already dialing 911, her voice cutting through the summer air like a siren. "You're trespassing!" she barked, loud enough to turn every head in the vicinity. But what she didn't know was that I had ironclad legal rights, signed documents, and a landlord who'd been part of this neighborhood's foundation. That single phone call ignited a firestorm: police reports, lawsuits, and a decade-old secret that would unravel her world. If you've ever witnessed a self-appointed gatekeeper crash and burn, grab a seat. This one's a wild ride. Even the cops called it the most epic HOA showdown they'd ever seen. Where are you watching from? Drop it in the comments below. My name's Ethan Caldwell, a 34-year-old freelance landscape designer who just settled into a cozy house in Willow Grove. After weeks of unpacking, I was ready to enjoy the neighborhood perks. The summer heat was relentless, and I'd spotted a pristine community pool just a short walk away. My lease with my landlord, Nathan Pierce, explicitly granted me access to the pool, despite my home not being part of the Oakwood Heights HOA that ran it. Nathan had explained it was a special deal from years back, tied to his early investment in the development. On a scorching Saturday, I grabbed my towel and headed to the pool. It was buzzing with families and sunbathers. I claimed a lounge chair and was about to dive in when a sharp tap on my shoulder stopped me. I turned to face a woman in her early 50s, perfectly styled blonde hair, designer sunglasses, and a tennis outfit that screamed country club. Her arms were crossed, her lips a tight line of disapproval. "Excuse me," she said, her tone dripping with authority. "I'm Vanessa Klein, president of the Oakwood Heights HOA. Where do you live?" I smiled, offering my hand. "Ethan Caldwell. I just moved into the gray house on Cedar Lane in Willow Grove." Her expression soured instantly. "Willow Grove? Then you're not an Oakwood resident. This pool is for our homeowners only. Leave now." I stayed calm. "Actually, my lease includes pool access. It's a legal agreement tied to my property." Vanessa's eyes narrowed. "I've run this HOA for 7 years. There's no such agreement. Leave, or I'm calling security." I tried explaining again, but she was already on her phone, making a spectacle. "Yes, we have a trespasser at the Oakwood pool who refuses to leave." Humiliated but composed, I gathered my things and left as onlookers whispered. Back home, I double-checked my lease. There it was, clear as day. "Tenant shall have full access to the Oakwood Heights community pool per the agreement dated June 15, 2013. Furious, I called Nathan. "This is nonsense," he fumed. "I was an original investor in Oakwood. My property's pool access is permanent, legally binding, and Vanessa knows it. She's been pulling this stunt with my tenants for years. He sent me the original documents, signed by developers and past HOA presidents, including Vanessa herself 3 years ago. This wasn't a handshake deal, it was a covenant etched in stone." I consulted my friend Mia Torres, a real estate attorney. She reviewed the papers and grinned. "This is airtight, Ethan. It's a covenant running with the land, recorded with the county." Vanessa has no leg to stand on. She advised me to carry the documents and write a formal letter asserting my rights. That evening, my neighbor Lila clued me in on Vanessa's reputation. "She's a tyrant," Lila said, rolling her eyes. "She fined me for my unapproved garden, and I'm not even in her HOA. She thinks she rules the whole block." Lila hinted at Vanessa's shady past with another HOA across town, where she'd left amid whispers of financial misconduct. Determined, I returned to the pool 3 days later, documents in hand. Vanessa appeared instantly, flanked by a jittery guy in his 30s. "I told you to stay out," she snapped. I held up the papers. "I have legal rights, Ms. Klein. Happy to show you." She waved them off. "I don't need your fake papers." She dialed 911 again. "We have an intruder at the pool, refusing to leave." I stood my ground. When Officer Ryan Holt arrived, I showed him the documents. He read them carefully as Vanessa ranted about, outsiders, and safety risks. After a tense pause, he handed the papers back. Mr. Caldwell has legal access, Ms. Klein. This is a civil matter, not criminal. Stop calling us for this. Vanessa's face turned crimson. I'm the president. I'd know if this existed. She pulled the officer aside, her voice rising. I caught a snippet. I won't let another disaster like 10 years ago happen again. What disaster? Vanessa stormed off, vowing the HOA board would handle me. Officer Holt sighed. She's called us before about trespassers who were totally legit. Be careful. The nervous guy, introducing himself as Derek Shaw, a new board member, whispered. Not everyone agrees with her. Watch your back. 2 days later, a $500 fine arrived from the HOA for unauthorized pool use. That's when I knew this was war. Mia laughed at the fine. They can't enforce this. You're not in their HOA. This is harassment. She urged me to dig into Vanessa's past. Online, I found a 7-year-old article about her resignation from another HOA due to financial irregularities, though no charges were filed. County records confirmed the HOA couldn't find non-members, but I noticed something odd. The Oakwood boundary map had shifted, claiming parts of Willow Grove properties, including mine. I met with Lila and other neighbors, who shared horror stories. She towed my car from my own driveway, said Tom, an elderly resident. She's been moving boundary markers, added Sarah. Half my yard's now HOA territory. I showed them the altered maps. This isn't just about me. She's stealing land. Derek met me secretly, revealing Vanessa's obsession with expanding Oakwood's control for profit and clout. She's tied to a developer eyeing our land for condos. He confessed, handing me board minutes and financial reports. At the next HOA meeting, I arrived with evidence, joined by Lila and other Willow Grove residents. Vanessa tried to eject me, but Derek cited bylaws allowing observers. When Vanessa proposed a $200 per household fee for pool security, I stood up. I'm the trespasser you're targeting, but I have legal pool rights. Worse, your HOA's been redrawing boundaries to claim non-members' land. I laid out the maps, sparking chaos. Nathan arrived, confirming the original boundaries. Derek admitted the board had reaffirmed my rights 3 years ago. Vanessa's control slipped as homeowners demanded answers. The meeting ended with her security plan shelved and calls for an audit. The next day, an anonymous email, sent by Derek, exposed Vanessa's misuse of HOA funds, funneling money to her brother-in-law's company and her own streets upgrades. The community erupted. At an emergency meeting, Vanessa's defenses crumbled. This is a smear campaign, she cried, glaring at me. But homeowners, armed with evidence, voted to suspend her. She fled, vowing legal action. Derek later revealed why Vanessa targeted my house. 10 years ago, she tried to buy it from Nathan but failed. She then forged documents to steal a strip of his land, aiming to boost her property's value. Nathan caught it, and the deal collapsed, with pool access granted to his property as a settlement. My house was a living reminder of her fraud, a secret she'd buried until I moved in. When Vanessa sued me for trespassing, Mia saw it as our chance. In court, we presented the pool covenant, neighbor testimonies, and the decade-old fraud evidence. Judge Clara Mitchell grilled Vanessa, who faltered. The judge dismissed the HOA's case, ordered Vanessa to pay my legal fees, and referred her fraud to the DA for potential prosecution. The courtroom buzzed as Vanessa's allies abandoned her. A month later, the new HOA board, led by Derek, sent an apology letter, affirming my pool rights and inviting me to a community committee. They installed a plaque at the pool honoring shared access. Vanessa sold her house and left. At a neighborhood barbecue, both communities mingled, the old divide gone. Officer Holt called it the best HOA takedown he'd seen. I landed a job with a local firm impressed by my stand. At the pool's reopening, I dove in, surrounded by kids from both neighborhoods, reflecting on how one fight had transformed everything. They told me I didn't belong, tried to find me, shame me, silence me, all for a pool chair. But I fought back, and what started as one guy refusing to be bullied became a reckoning for a corrupt system. If you've ever been pushed out of a place you deserved, this is for you. Boundaries aren't just lines, they're where you say, enough. So, hit the comments, where have you drawn your line? And let's talk, how far is too far when someone's just joking in a relationship? Share your take, and let's get this convo going. Subscribe for more stories that hit hard and spark debate.